Now, Delhi is facing a possible two-front air quality crisis, ash from a distant volcanic eruption, and a stifling local pollution surge. Meanwhile, authorities have responded with urgent health and workplace advisories. Now, a long-dormant volcano in Ethiopia has erupted on November 23rd, and it had unleashed a powerful explosive blast that sent its ash plumes soaring to approximately 45,000 feet. Now, satellite imagery tracked the cloud of ash, sulfur dioxide, and fine rock particles drifting northward, crossing the Arabian Peninsula before making its way towards India. Well, by Monday night, the plume had reached Delhi, casting a thin, hazy layer over the city. But meteorologists and India Met Department has said that the ash remains at very high altitude between 15,000 and 45,000 feet and is unlikely to significantly worsen surface level air pollution. Basically, the ash cloud is far above even the tallest skyscrapers on Earth, reaching altitudes comparable to the lower stratosphere where jets fly. And according to the IMD, while the sky may look murkier, a major spike in air quality index from the ash cloud alone is not expected. Well, at the same time, Delhi's local air pollution crisis has reached a tipping point. The government has activated Stage 3 of its Greater Response Action Plan, ordering both government and private offices to cut on-site staff to 50%. Under the GRAP 3 directive, the Delhi government has set staggered office hours. MCD offices will be operating from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. local time, while the Delhi government offices will run from 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. local time. And the remaining half of the employees they have been told to work from home, and this is in a move that is aimed at reducing vehicular emissions and curbing worsening smog. The directive comes from the Environment Department under Section 5 of the Environment Protection Act 1986, giving it legal backing. Now, it also asks offices to adopt staggered working hours to avoid peak traffic emissions, which is a crucial step as commuting remains a major pollutant. Enforcement teams are already in place. More than 2,000 personnel from multiple agencies will monitor compliance across Delhi's government and private offices. However, certain critical services are exempt from this 50% cap. Hospitals, emergency services, water and electricity utilities, transport departments and disaster management units will continue as usual, ensuring essential operations remain uninterrupted. Now, the order is effective immediately and will stay in place for as long as the city remains under the GRAP Stage 3. All right, to discuss more, we're now being joined live by retired Air Vice Marshal and President of Meteorology and Climate Change at SkyMet Weather from Noida. Thank you so much for joining us. As we see, thank you so much. Now, the ash has already disrupted flight operations in different parts of our country. This is, of course, this ash is likely to impacting rather flight services. If you could help us understand, although the experts and meteorologists have been saying that it might slightly not really impact pollution, what is your outlook on this?
It's a massive eruption which has taken place, and more so because this volcano has erupted after thousands of years. To be precise, I think they're saying about 12,000 years. Okay. And these are the natural disasters. There are two of them specifically which strike without any notice, not even a short notice: earthquake and volcano. Okay. And they are massive in size as such, which impact a large area. And so what has happened in this case? It happened on Sunday. It's almost about today is the third day, Sunday late in the day it happened, but its impact is being felt even since yesterday and carries on even today. Because you see the volcanic ash, the plume of ash, it's a huge, dimensions are very, very large. And since it's in a state of, it's a dynamic state, air has got no barrier. There are strong winds in the sense of about 100 kilometers, even going up to 150 kilometers per hour. So that is getting drifted very fast, very large speed, and that is how it has reached over our region. The only thing is, may not be possible to see with the naked eye over our region. As such, the obscurities are there in the atmosphere on some other counts also. So even for the aviation, for the pilots also, it may not be possible to distinguish as to what is the type of obscurity when they are flying, whether it is some other natural obscurity which can come in at that height, or it is the plume of ash which is there from the volcano. But then surely it is there. Good thing only, I feel that it may not impact or it may not affect the air pollution which we already have over northern parts, including the national capital region. These are the pollutants which are just in the lower levels. Okay, PM 2.5, PM 10, even some other particles are there, but they are confined to the lower levels of the lower layers of the atmosphere. Sometimes they don't even go beyond 3,000 feet above ground level, or at the most maybe 5,000 feet or so. So there is very little chance of having any interaction between what is happening in the troposphere and the stratosphere. That means those high levels, which is about 25, 30,000 feet or so, and in the lower levels. Okay, but then given some time frame, whatever the eruption has taken place, those particles, those are also similar to what we have as a pollutant with the sulfur particles, some or rock particles, some glass particles, or in addition to that, some other ash, obviously that will be there. So it will settle down. It has to settle down for two reasons. Because the atmosphere is very, very rarefied at those heights. There's hardly any, very few particles are there. So it has to, and the temperatures are very low. It could be minus 20, minus 30 also. The combination of these two will take the particles, it will bring them down. It is a time frame. Okay, it's a some process which will take place, and then it will have to come down and then rest in the lower layers of the atmosphere. Yeah.
Right, and considering that, do we know how much time it would take? Because as you mentioned, it is drifting, so how much time would it take for it to move across India?
Very difficult to assess. See, these are the unforeseen incidences. One is not prepared for that. Otherwise, you can have sensors and the platforms positioned accordingly in case we have some notice. Okay, though there are some platforms in the space already monitoring the other aspects also, be it the satellites are there, all types of, whether it's a geo satellite or the polar orbiting satellite in the lower heights satellites are there. They have different gadgets and the sensors on board which can, obscurity can be measured, it can be assessed also. So we will have that reads from those sensors of onboard space platform, which possibly it will take time to analyze that as to, or it will be a hindsight study, okay, as to what did it do to us, what harm was done. At the moment, it's very difficult. Even for the aviation, for the pilots also, it will be very difficult at this moment to distinguish between the obscurity in case they are flying. But in any case, now the flying has been restricted, rather flights have been cancelled in that route, and most of the aviation, most of the airlines, they are rerouting, though it has got its own implication, rerouting of flights. So that is what it amounts to, yeah.
And would it have any impact on climate as such, or the weather pattern across India in the northern parts?
It is whatever you may say, it's a contamination taking place. Okay, volcano ash means contamination. And all sort of those particles, unwanted particles are there. These are chemicals which are harmful, be it as I mentioned, whether it is a sulfur particle, whether it's a ash as such, or the other glass particles. It could be a mix of those particles, including when the volcano erupts, the solid rocks which are there, it is fragmented into very small particles, are also they are shifted up. All these are very, very harmful constituents which are going to affect the atmosphere as such. Okay, and more so when it is a drifting now, it is going from place to place. And when I mentioned earlier, it has to settle down somehow or the other in some fixed time frame. At the moment, we do not assess that. But when it settles down, it comes down in the lower layers, and it is going to affect our environment. It is definitely, it will be affecting the environment as such, yes.
All right. Well, of course, hopefully we don't really see a major, because, of course, especially cities like Delhi, they already are suffering with such pollution levels. But thank you so much for joining us on the show. That was AVM GP Sharma, President of the SkyMet Weather, joining us on the podcast. Thank you.